Good evening and Happy New Year. Welcome to a special live stream as we turn our spotlight on Liberia, a nation at a pivotal crossroads, celebrated for its rich cultural heritage and breathtaking natural beauty. Tonight, we ask, can Liberia emerge as the next tourism and investment hotspot in West Africa? Achieving this vision requires swift action, improving infrastructure, enhancing transparency in governance, and strengthening security. These are the crucial steps that will determine Liberia's ability to compete on the global stage. Throughout this program, we'll evaluate Liberia's current readiness, examine both challenges and opportunities, and share expert insights to help build a brighter future. Stay with us as we explore what it will take for Liberia to truly open its doors to the world. For additional insights, I invite you to read my recent opinion piece published in the Front Page Africa newspaper. So President Joseph Boakai recently introduced the Liberia National Tourism Act, creating the Liberia National Tourism Authority to oversee tourism growth and regulation. He highlighted the importance of harnessing Liberia's cultural and natural assets to attract tourists, support local businesses, and generate jobs. Princess Cooper, the LNTA's head, emphasized that successful tourism development depends on cross-sector collaboration and strategic partnerships within the government. She pointed out obstacles such as poor infrastructure, inadequate hospitality facilities, a lack of trained tourism professionals, and limited road access to attractions across the country. Stability, political, economic, political stability, let's look at stability in general. Our political, economic, security, environmental, and legal is essential for Liberia to compete for tourists and major investors. Without these foundations, Liberia risks losing out to other destinations. Experts recommend swift governance reforms that achieve visible progress, such as strengthening anti-corruption efforts and launching transparent infrastructure initiatives. Improvements in roads, connectivity, and hospitality training could significantly boost Liberia's appeal and readiness for global tourism and investment. Although Liberia offers a rich cultural heritage and attractions, investors and visitors usually prioritize political stability, robust infrastructure, reliable services, security, environmental cleanliness, and the rule of law. The government must address all 6 pestle domains to position Liberia as a leading tourism destination. To attract foreign tourists and investors, Liberia must achieve stability in 6 key areas: politics, economics, security, technology, environment, and law. Policymakers should honestly assess their current performance and use transparent benchmarking tools to track progress and identify gaps. International perceptions, such as those from the US State Department, heavily influence travel and investment decisions, with reports highlighting Liberia's challenges in infrastructure, corruption, governance, and service reliability. These issues deter both visitors and investors. Comparisons with Ghana reveal actionable lessons. Ghana has successfully attracted tourists and foreign investment by investing in infrastructure, reforming the public sector, engaging the diaspora, and promoting transparency. High-profile campaigns and reforms have simplified investment and invited global attention, especially from African Americans. In contrast, Liberia's historical connections have not with the United States, especially with African Americans, have not translated into similar success, largely due to underdevelopment and poor perceptions. Liberia struggles with entrenched patronage system, a lack of meritocracy, and governance challenges that erode public trust and deter investment. Although some reforms have improved transparency and accountability, ongoing reliance on personal connections undermines progress and the nation's reputation. A budget analysis shows that Liberia spends most of its limited budget on recurring expenses rather than development, while, on the other hand, Ghana prioritizes infrastructure, social programs, and economic growth. Ghana's strategic citizen-focused approach has earned international praise, while Liberia's underinvestment and governance issues remain obstacles. In summary, Liberia's path to becoming a competitive tourism and investment destination requires honest self-assessment, reforms to improve governance and transparency, strategic investment in infrastructure and services, and learning from regional successes such as Ghana's. Ghana's budgetary approach prioritizes a broad-based development and economic growth, while Liberia's strategy is hampered by structural issues, limited investment, and ongoing concerns about transparency and priorities. The text underscores the need for tangible improvements to attract tourists and investors, using Ghana's visible infrastructure and social service progress as a model. In Liberia, community-led initiatives such as enhanced beach cleanliness in Roberts Port show that focused efforts can yield positive results. However, Liberia's leadership often prioritizes personal interests over national development, as seen in reduced sanitation funding despite pressing city needs. The conclusion calls for a collaborative roadmap involving government, the private sector, and the diaspora. Recommended actions include government investment in infrastructure and transparency, private sector development of sustainable tourism, and diaspora engagement in mentorship and advocacy. These steps, if coordinated, can help shift Liberia toward national development and tourism growth. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA. Joining us tonight to share their insights on this topic are Liberty's senior law enforcement and criminal justice commentator, Charles E. King, 20-year U.S. Army veteran and Liberian presidential hopeful Mengistu Wolokoli, U.S.-based Liberian fintech entrepreneur Jacob Rowland, tech guru and social entrepreneur Joseph Pambu, businessman Ramsey Bidell, and my dynamic co-host Philomena Kofa. Gentlemen, welcome to 1847 Liberty.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Where's Philomena?
Thank you.
My co-host is dealing with some, problems in Liberia. She'll join us shortly.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, gentlemen. So let's get to it. Welcome to 1847 and happy New Year to every one of you. This is the #1 show streaming live on the internet today. So before we get into it, I would like to take this one quick. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA. Okay, gentlemen, to kick this discussion off, let's start with this question. And I would like the panel and our guest, Mr. Wolokoli, or anyone can go first. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious is Liberia right now about attracting tourists and major investors? And why did you choose that number? So let's rank Liberia, current standing right now.
Okay, I'll start. I'll say about 5.
Okay. Why do you say 5, Mr. King?
But because I'm looking at, from my perspective as a law enforcement and criminal justice perspective, tourists comes in and they want to have some protection. They want to have understanding of the laws. They want to have an understanding of safety aspect, and they want to be able to see it. Talking about it is one thing. Looking at it and seeing the activities in the streets, where they walk, where they ride, that's a different issue. So that is from the perspective I'm coming from. I say 5 because much more needs to be done, and it can be done.
That's a good one, and I agree on the part of, show me, don't tell me. You can go around saying a whole lot of, fine things about a country, but what's on the ground, when a visitor comes to the country, what they see, is what they're gonna use to, it's what they will base their decision on. So let's talk to my good friend, fintech entrepreneur, Mr. Jacob Rowland. How will you rate the country right now on a scale of 1 to 10?
I haven't. I would say 3.
3.
When it comes to when I look at tourism, I look at what the cause, like why they're visiting, right? And the key thing I will look at, I'm looking at the re-establishment of sites, historical sites, that currently there is no allocation of budget that has been allocated to this part to re-establish, like modernize those historical monitor put a security structure where people can visit, right? It's still demolished, it's still down. Road constructions leading to those sites is not 100% paved. The send of electricity, if there's sites people should visit at night, right? What are we constant with? And there's a lot of factors that plays into that, right? And also, like what Mr. King said, the key thing is security, right? what's the level of the crime rate? What I know, do people feel safe moving around Liberia right now? Yes, but how secure can that be? So there's a lot of other factors around it, right? In terms of the government itself, I understood recently they just passed in a law, right, to focus on tourism. But in terms of the budget, how much money within those budgets allocated to focus on those, particular infrastructure that I just mentioned, or what's the playbook? Are we going to lead back to more like to attract tourism right now, into Liberia? So yeah, I would just keep it at 3 for now.
Okay, Joseph, have three, Mr. King. Three, he's talking about infrastructure, the lack of basic infrastructure. Mr. King is concerned about security, and he ranks the country 5, and Jacob Rodin's 3. So, what about incoming, I would say presidential hopeful, Mr. Wolokoli? What's your take?
I will go with Mr. Roland at 3. Also, and my reason why I would give 3 is one, the lack of political will. I would say security, but not in a sense as it being unsafe. Is the fact that with development coming, education is needed, and the fact that the security apparatus, the rank and file on the streets, do not understand the laws, do not understand the laws that they have or that they are empowered with, and also on road infrastructure. That if you go to Robertsport right now, the road from Bamagida Highway into Robertsport is not paved. That's a whole tourist site that could be like South Carolina, Murder Beach, or Miami Beach, that is on tap. You have River Cesar's Beach. You have Maryland, Hopper. You have another site, the Patawi waterfall. We have another waterfall called Sega Waterfall, which a lot of people, a lot of Liberians, do not know about it. So those are the reasons why. And that when I talk about the political will, there are things that administration, the past 5 administrations since 1980, I never had the political will to do what President Willem Altoba was trying to do. So they have all played the same game over and over, that I would say they don't have the political will to do the necessary things needed to move the country tourism in a better direction.
Lack of political will, poor infrastructure, and security concerns. Mr. Joseph Pambu, tech guru and social entrepreneur, what's your take?
Well, thank you very much for this discussion. Actually, I don't have a rating, because the reason why I don't have a rating, as a tech entrepreneur, I see no future for Liberia when it comes to technology. We stay playing politics with the young people instead of us making them to realize that the 21st century is all about innovation and creativity. Most times people talk about the rule of law, but today in Liberia is very sad. And it's not just from the Barker administration, but it's something that we really need to do a deeper research into. For example, when we talk about terrorism, it has to do with what we call intellectual property also. And a lot of Liberians don't know what they have in Liberia, what they can sell to the world. For example, our musicians are considered to be troublemakers instead of income generators for the nation. So it's so sad when it comes to rating Liberia, because we think we focus more on the politics than in terms of improving the young people's life, taking their creativity, and building the next Silicon Valley of Africa in Liberia. Because don't forget, we had an opportunity just a few days ago when Liberia was considered to be a nation with a beautiful English? What message or what have we done with that? Did we try to see how best we can create call centers for young people in Liberia? But we only see protests where young people are going around with pots on their head. So I have no rating for Liberia for now, because until I see young people are being valued in the nation, not as praise singers, but as contributors to the nation through their intellectual property. It's a very, I don't want to take all the time because it's a very interesting topic that we're delving into. But tourism, you cannot talk about tourism without talking about intellectual property. What is unique to Liberia that people are coming to see? What are we preserving? We have a lot, but because of mismatched people in the wrong position, we don't even know what we have in terms of resources, in terms of human capacity, in terms of whatever you can think about. Liberia, we are a nation that we only, we work based on you on the payroll instead of your performance. But I'm happy to be on this panel, and as for now, I just reserve my rating because I don't want to say 0 or 1, but I don't have a rating for now. Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, Mr. Bidel, small business owner. What's your take? How do you rate the country now on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of tourism, our tourism potential?
Well, anyway, thank you for inviting me on the show, my good friend and brother. It's so sad that we have to sit here and rate our country, the whole country that we all know and love so dearly. But it's something that we have to speak up on. There's certain things that needs to be done. Like my fellow brothers here giving rate and the last brother couldn't give any rate because it's sad. It's sad. It's almost like rating your own child. Like Mr. King said, he rated Liberia 5. He even went far. I can rate Liberia based on category. If you say for instance for infrastructure, Liberia is 1. There's nothing there. I've been through other African countries, and we are in the same continent of Africa. We have politicians that travel, that go out and come in. And Liberia has been like that till before even some of us was born. We come and we have seen Liberia and it has not been any different. It's still the same. So like my last brother said, he don't even have any rate to rate Liberia because it's shameful. I just came from Ghana almost a week ago. Infrastructure there, Liberia don't even come close. Technology-wise, Liberia is 0. When we're talking about things like transportation, where they have a platform like Uber and Lyft and Bolt, Liberia don't have those things. These are things given to everybody, almost like Facebook. We don't even have app that operate. People fight for car every day and night. And the safety concern is very, very low. When it comes to safety, Liberia don't have it. So it is so sad that we have to sit here and discuss things that politicians are supposed to be sitting and discussing what the best way forward.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Bidel. The panel seems a little bit pessimistic, but let's delve into this topic. Let's see if we can provide some hope for the country tourism sector. So investors and visitors prioritize political stability, robust infrastructure, reliable services, security, environmental cleanliness, and the rule of law. Now, I talked about the PESTO analysis. We analyzed the political, economic, security, technological, economic, environmental, and legal areas. So, and now here's another question for you guys. So, which two PESTO areas is Liberia weakest in right now? And how does that show up in daily life for visitors? So we give an overall view, ranking, from 1 to 10. But then of the 6 PESTO areas, what two can you, point the weakest and 2 areas where Liberia is weakest in right now? Okay, yeah. So and that is also something that can be seen in the daily life right now, the current reality of the country. What's your take, gentlemen?
I'm going to, may I start?
Yes, please, Mr. King.
Okay, I'm going to start purposely because of the presidential hopeful, Mr. Wolokoli, that is present, because he is a political party person. When you have the political parties that exist today, they do not seem, and I'm mentioning this for you, Mr. Wolokoli, because you are in a political party. You have your own, and you will be termed as, quote, the opposition, unquote. When you have your members and you have a responsibility to maintain discipline within your party structure, you have to show to the outside world that as an opposition party, you respect the law, and you have to also remember your part that you play in maintaining public safety and the logistics and the understanding about how your people are going to act. Most of the political party that I've seen have this factor that just because they're opposition, they have to be negative on everything. Now, you don't have to be negative on everything to be an opposition party. You all don't seem to educate your masses, the followers, about what is being an opposition and the responsibility that they carry. And on top of that, you all in the different parties must educate your people. You must provide opportunities for them to go to school and get an education to understand how the government works. And then on top of that, when you're going around soliciting for support, you all make promises to people that you should not even be making promises to. Putting someone in government, or I will employ you here and there. No, if they're not prepared, how can you put someone in government? And then when you get in government, when you get in position of power, they expect you to fulfill your promises. So the political parties have an obligation, and I've said this before on many medium tracks. Send your people to school instead of just getting them following behind you and making noise behind you. You have an obligation. And you should think about that in your political party and spread that information out around to your people. Because when the tourists coming, they want to say, okay, an opposition party, they're demonstrating. What you demonstrating for? And making confusion and not complying with the rule of law or complying with the city ordinances for regulation and getting your appropriate okay to walk. And then you said demonstration, protest. What's all that for? So it's something that you political parties, and I'm going to stop now, to think about. And that's why I'm happy that you're here, because then you can hear what we are talking about. And from a public safety position, this is what I'm talking about: law enforcement.
Okay,
When you one more last thing, when you going to when you're trying to comply to the rules and regulations of the city, go and get your permit. And if the person and the director of police or inspector general or government refuses, go to the court. Don't defy and say we are doing this and doing it. Go to the court. That is how you demonstrate respect for the rule of law. That's all I got to say, gentlemen. I'll come back later if necessary.
Okay,
Can
thank you. I'll have Mr.
can I go?
Wolokoli to just
Yeah.
respond briefly.
Mr. King, thank you for that advice. I do not disagree with what you are saying. I am on record speaking of when it comes to demonstration or protest. I think it's a waste of time. If anybody wanted to do a protest, not demonstration, but protest in Liberia, if you're not doing a protest in the sense of the 1960 civil rights era protest, then it's a waste of time for you to do protests.
Thank you.
All right. If you're not doing a protest where you saying, okay, we are standing there, non-violence, we are not going home. But most of the protests that they do around here, they show up at 9 o'clock, by 5 o'clock, they all leave and go to the entertainment center to go sit down and drink.
Yeah.
So I think protest is a waste of time. But I think it's dying away now. I think that within the next 3 to 4 years, we will not see protests as it used to be. When it comes to the stuff about you talking about political party, I think that one of the things that as the True United Party, we are not fully certificated yet, but we are in the process that we need to do as a political party is to educate our voters on our philosophy and our ideology on where we see the country, where we want the country to go. When you talk about sending your voters to school, that's a whole different ball game because you are looking at the education system that we have in the country is lack of. I'm going to be nice, be a little bit political. It's not where it should be or where it needs to be. We have in our country right now. If you ask a young man, in school, I remember going to school at Katira and St. Patrick's. We knew the Constitution. We knew the branches of government, who the heads are. We knew other countries' independence days and everything. You ask a young man right now in his who is 17, 18 years old. What happened April 12, 1980? They don't know. They cannot tell you. What happened April 24, 1989? They cannot tell you. You have
Mr. Wolokoli. Yeah. I want to interject here. Just when you mentioned about the lack of schools, the education system, again, just because there's a lack of that, it doesn't mean you in your party cannot start the program to educate your followers. You have to find people out there, find people out there to bring them in and let them know that education is the way. And that's your responsibility to find it.
Are you saying that a political party should bring teachers into the country to teach people?
No, I'm saying to you that as a political party that has a following of 500, 1,000 young people who do not know what their responsibilities are, you should then take it upon yourself to inform them and educate them. Because if anything happens, you are responsible for the activity.
So what I'm getting from you, and which I would say, let me not assume what you're saying, but let me say what we as the True United Party are. We have our philosophy, we have our ideas, and we teach to our people. One of the first and foremost thing is that we tell our people we have in leadership, and for me, I tell them I wouldn't ask nobody to do anything I wouldn't do or I have not done. So I would not tell anybody to go out there and go and protest. If you are going to protest, I'm not against people protesting. It's your constitutional right to protest. But if you are going to go and advocate to protest for something, make sure it's something worthwhile. You shouldn't just go out there to protest the border cry wolf, wolf, wolf all the time. Yeah. When the real wolf comes, nobody's going to listen to you.
Yes.
Okay,
If you look at
gentlemen.
the recent protests,
Okay. I will let my other colleagues go and come back
Yeah,
to you.
okay, gentlemen, Mr. Wolokoli, thank you. Good point, good response. But let's move over to another factor that I talked about, the
yeah,
business,
another
the
factor,
economic.
as I was saying, another
Mr. Wolokoli, I'll get right back
okay.
to you. Let me just move over. You know, move over to the
Yeah,
economic side, and let me
I
bring
think
in fintech entrepreneur Jacob Rowland with this one. So, Jacob, when you talk to foreign investors, what do they mention first as a barrier? Is it infrastructure, corruption, or security?
one of the key things I would say is security is definitely one of the most concerned anybody you're trying to talk to invest, especially when they hear the word Africa, right? Uh, There's two factors involved. There's one is how the media on the international portray Africa to be like. That's one. And two is more of like the fact that Liberia has gone so many like dynamics of wars and all that. So security is definitely that one of the primary concern. Number two is more of the economic side of the country, right? Looking at what the status of the country when it comes to what's the economic status, right? How is the country doing well when it comes to the like what we're looking at. But I wanted to answer your first question. I'm not trying to deviate from that. I think when you mentioned the six pillars of
Mm-hmm.
what library to look at, I mean, it's still attribute to what we're going back. I think my major concern there, my major pillars was more environmental and legal, right?
Okay,
When,
okay.
when we look at environmental, is the effectiveness of waste management, like you said there in your article, right? And sanitation. I was very, very reading this article. I was very, very disappointed when I realized that the sanitation budget for Liberia was cut down from 600,000 to 400,000. That was more like, okay, do we say that we want a dirty country instead of a clean country? Liberia is not big, but also $400,000 to keep a country. It's a small money, very small.
And that was from the previous year. Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but looking at the legal aspect, the transparency aspect, right? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
investors also goes to what the question is, Dogo, right? How transparent is the country? The fact that there's so many, we don't have a system. To go back to what my brother Joseph was saying, right? A technological system that can audit places when businesses come in. We still deal with people. We still deal with papers. Meaning the issue of papers, there's so many issues that comes with bribery, people using the back door. When you have a legal system that you use in terms of all the people, it's easy to catch somebody when they're not going according to the law and all of that. So there are a lot of factors that drive investors to come to Liberia. So I think that uh, I don't know, but I would say we as Liberians that live in the diaspora should be our first source of invest. We should be the one engaging in setting up and investing into Liberia, which I have done over the years, right? And a lot of Liberians have going back, trying to establish now. The reason why those businesses and things don't last, it all comes down to the last point, legal, right? The issue of transparency, the issue of the rules of law, like what Mr. King was just mentioning, right? How we following those? Are people getting persecuted on corruptions out of there? Now, if these things are not met, it scares everybody because I can open a business today, somebody can steal all my business money and nothing happens to that person. That person can go scot free. But if we have the rules of law in place where people can go prosecuted and go to jail for 20, 30 years and go by the law, again, that comes a question where I know if somebody cross the line, they're gonna sit down. I can actually send a business like Bill where I'm not worried because if somebody cross, they're gonna jail for a long time. Nobody want to do that, and that's why you see the crime rate in America is less because we know that when we mess up the rules here, we're gonna go to jail for a long period of time. So there's a lot of factors in it that investors look into when they want to go back to Liberia.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me bring in Mr. Pambu, tech guru and social entrepreneur. We've seen travel advisories and investment reports highlight weak infrastructure, corruption, and unpredictable policies. Mr. Pambu, how much do these external reports influence Liberia's image?
Well, like other panelists are talking about, the rule of law and the legal system, because one of the most important things that investors look for is how their investment will be protected, is one, and how they will get returns out of their investment. Because if their investment is not protected and there's no rule of law, they won't be able to get a return on their investment. And corruption, as we all know, is one of the major factor that have made a lot of uh, businesses or investment that should have created jobs in Liberia or other part of the world did not realize. So when we talk about the rule of law, sometimes a lot of people think about the rule of law and corruption to just be for people in the hierarchy or in big positions. No, but it starts from me and you, how we respect the law, how we put value to the law, and how we understand the law. For example, other part of the world, you will see that people will respect the law enforcement officers because if you make an error with them, it's the end of your life. You won't be alive to talk the story. Where in Liberia is another story, But we can understand because sometimes, based on the environment, there are certain powers you don't give to certain individuals. But how we ourselves understand the law, how we interpret it, and how we obey is very much important because a nation without security is a vulnerable nation. And security has to do with me and you. Like when you go out in developed nations, there are slogans that they say, when you see something, say something. So the security starts with you. Whatever you see out there, say something about it. But a lot of people are scared to talk about certain things because there's no whistleblower protection. Even the corruption we're talking about, people have information that they can come forward with. But what's their protection? You know, what will protect them from the powers to be where they bring out this information? And technology today, we cannot like shy away from it. You know, we talk about education, but today, the 21st century, we cannot talk about education without talking about the tools that enhance the education, such as one, electricity. Because without electricity, even the technology we're talking about, we cannot realize it. The infrastructures that are needed for this technology. Today, we talk about AIs and cybersecurity, but we still have a challenge of computer literacy back in Liberia, to the extent that when they give somebody a little project to run a computer literacy program for people, corruption cases come out, embezzlement come out. It's sad to see that Liberians are entrusted to power and they don't come with the change that they always talk about. If you say you want to see change, you should ready to be part of that change and be the change maker. Like for technology, we won't realize investors coming to Liberia for technology for now because even the present government don't respect the sector. For example, I have experience and knowledge about the Liberia Intellectual Property Office. And it's so sad to know that President Joseph Numa Boakai was not well informed to know that the leadership at the Liberia Intellectual Property Office have to have experience in law. They have to be an attorney at law. Because when you talk about intellectual property, you talk about law, infringement, copyright protection, trademarks. So how will you take somebody with no legal background to get into an office that is supposed to be for a legal person? It's just like, for example, taking Dara Dilla and making him the Chief Justice of Liberia. Then we are setting the country for disaster. So people that are near Joseph Boakai need to look at these people that are vetted. Intellectual property is not a joke. That's what makes people to become millionaires and billionaires. We see a lot of content coming from Liberia. Music, video, and a whole lot of stuff. A lot of smart people are building tools that can be sold to international partners. But how can you sell them? The first thing they will ask you, do you have a patent? Do you have an intellectual property right? So we need to really look at the legal system in Liberia and also try to put value on technology and see how best we can enhance these young people that are involved into entrepreneurship and support them. Not every time we should support young people when it comes to causing disasters, protests, and whatever. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll have Mr. King and Mr. Wolokoli respond, and then we'll move on to our next segment. Mr. King?
But no, I fully agree. I fully agree with Mr. Palmer, because education based down to the fact that if they don't know their responsibilities, if they do not have the capacity to even know how to think, to give you the information you need, how are you going to get it? You have to show the young people how to think. Because I was just reading a magazine on Africa Unbound, and one of the writers said, ideas, not money, will alleviate poverty. But all these different structures are necessary. But at the same time, the youth, I train the youth in Liberia right now. And when I had Howard security system, I trained all my officers before the war on constitutional law and the rule of law. And right now, today, since that office closed because of the war, they all find themselves in positions where they are using that education and training now. And are respected in the different places in Liberia. Some of them have come to America, in England, and they have risen from the different level of being in the diaspora. So you have to educate. And it is, again, I want to go back to, it is the responsibility for all those who lead any group of people to have them educated. Look for people to come in and talk to your people. Look for the people. I have people who are lecturers to my students from here in America. I'm educating them and I'm providing them self-development courses. You see? So I'm not waiting for the government to bring any teachers. I'm making sure that I present to them the proper way of self-development and giving them education and training. That's my responsibility. That's all I have to say, but I agree with Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Mr. King. Mr. Wolokoli?
Mr. Pambu, I understand your frustration. I share your frustration in what you are saying. And when it comes to intellectual property, yes, I'm somebody, myself from the Unity Party and myself got into a debate saying that your intellectual, what is it that we have in this country that we are producing that we can do something to protect it? What are the mechanism and stuff? And the person that they, like you said, they appointed, I asked, I said, what have this person done in this field for them to get this position? And the answer to me was, oh, she a partisan.
Right?
And then you go on to talk about the education. Let me just show you something. This is the Liberia traffic law book. Right now, the LMP, Liberia National Police, they have come together because the whole thing about ticketing. All the ticket, if you go and look at all the ticket that drivers have received over the past, let's say for the past 6 months, it's 10.3, 10.30, or 10 point something. And if you ask the police officers then on the street what is 10.3, none of them able to tell you what 10.3 is in the vehicle traffic law book. If you show this book to the police officers,
can you put the book up for us one more time? Let's see the title. Okay, nice. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about
Right.
that. Please continue. Yeah.
Most of the police officers have never read this book before. Right? They don't know how to. Police officers don't know how to properly direct traffic on the streets of Monrovia. You have when it comes to the intellectual property, we don't have a constant electricity in the country, so a lot of ideas that are supposed to be going on is hindered by it. I remember earlier someone talked about call center. I don't know if it was you, Mr. Pemo, about call center. A few years back, almost, I want to say maybe about 10 years or so, a company came to Liberia, wanted to do a call center in Liberia. The company left, they said, because the Liberians that they want to hire are not speaking proper English. I remember going to school in Liberia. When you spoke colloquial among your friends or with your parents, you either got a whooping or your friends then laugh at you. It made you want to speak proper English. But you go in government offices and stuff in Liberia, they are just speaking the colloquial freely. Just a few weeks ago, a deputy minister of education was on radio talking about education. And this man spoke colloquial the whole way through the interview.
Yeah.
And people say, "Oh, you have." For me, being back in Liberia, I've been living back here. I'm retired from the army. I've been living back here about 7 years now. When I go out and talk to people, they say, "Oh, but man, you can't be speaking our series here, man. You got to put it down in the poor language." And I tell them, "Say no. I work hard for me to go to. My parents sent me to school for me to speak proper English. I'm not an English major, but at least I try to make sure I speak proper English. Me going to the United States, I spoke proper English. I'm not going to come back here to say, oh, just because I want to be elected, that I have to speak the way that everybody's speaking, knowing it's wrong. If that's the reason why they would not want to elect me, no problem."
Okay, Mr.
Right.
Olokradi, thank you. Let's bring in Jacob Rowland. Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, don't look at this as I'm attacking you. Like, we are young people, especially, there's one thing Mr. King mentioned, and I feel like being a young Liberian, a lot of time we look at the problem and we rely so wholly on the government to fix the problem. The problem with Liberia, it didn't even start from our generation, right? It started from way back generation, and these things that keep happening. Now, as I listen to Mr. King, one of the key things I picked from what he said over there is, why wait for the government? Why can't you start doing it? And he even mentioned, like, when he had his security firm, he took on the opportunity to train and teach. Right now,
That's
you being
right.
a political figure, you've seen a lot of flaws in our system, right? You've seen a lot of flaws. But one of the key things you mentioned was the traffic law, the book you're reading right now, right? I just want to ask you a question. Maybe this can also help the audience, right? Can you highlight one of the self-initiated project that is not political, that you've seen up as a problem, you see as a political leader, that at least can shine light on what you're doing on your personal initiative to kind of like stop looking at maybe like a workshop? Maybe I'm going to have a partner with the police and have a workshop, and maybe I'm just giving an example, but can you just shine a light on something
I
like
got you. A few years back, I decided to do a class, which was resume writing class. How to write resume for young people, right? I even contacted some few of my friends then from the US for us to do like a Zoom call and so forth. I put this class together. I had maybe about 150 people sign up, say they're going to come, right? You know how many people show up? Maybe about 7 people. And you know why the other people didn't show up? They said because I wasn't paying a way for them to come to the training. I wasn't providing food for them, and I wasn't giving a certificate. There's a 2 hours thing. I said, young people, I want to teach you how to write your resume or your CV so you can get jobs. And they said, and you have people who said they wouldn't do it. I can give you numerous. I'm just giving you that simple thing. I'll give you another thing. When I know recently you guys heard about the Ministry of Transport people protesting because LMT was the Liberian National Police took over the vehicle registration process and so forth. You remember that protest that took place, I think a few months back? Do you recall that, Roland? All right. A few years ago, I went to the ministry under the George Weah administration. I went to the ministry with this same book and trying to educate people in there and saying, listen, you guys, the Ministry of Transport was not created as a revenue generation entity. Your only job is to come up with ideas, give ideas out to the legislators, and help facilitate the building of projects and transportation infrastructure. In this particular book, since this law was passed 1972, it was amended 2007, February 19, 2007, that we are supposed to have DMV in each of the
county,
each of the counties. That's how it's supposed to be. The LMT that we have right now. When I went to go talk to people, my man moved from here. I America thing, you do that, and America will do that thing. We won't do that stuff here. This what we saw that our eating we got over here. That's what I was told. That's one. Two. I met with some police folks a few years back, trying to say, hey, to educate them on what some of the stuff they need to do because they complain and say they don't get paid, they don't get their uniform and stuff is not good. So I said, all right, gentlemen, I have an idea that I think that if you guys follow, I can teach y'all so y'all can do this, so it'll be better. Do you know what the police officers then told me? They told me, say, my man, you got to pay us for the consider and listen to you for you to teach us. So, and let me finish now. What I wanted to tell them was,
okay, yes, I'll let you land. Mm-hmm.
The police in Liberia do not have a police union. I wanted to teach them, say that you need to create a police union so you can have collective bargaining to be able to advocate for better pay on so forth. The tickets and stuff that they're writing we know in the U.S. that some of the tickets that police write, a percentage go to the police retirement funds. Those are some of the stuff I want to teach them for the collective bargaining. The Texas Union in Liberia, the same thing I tried to go to where I need to do for stuff. And everywhere that I have gone to start to go and give my expertise and ideas is about you have to pay us, or you have to do so and so stuff for you to teach us.
That's exactly that's exactly my problem.
Yeah,
sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
What you just stated, that's exactly my problem, right? You've seen the problem. There is a problem. We all go through that problem. Liberians, we do not understand the leverage of information or education. So you have to answer my question, right? Because you identify the problem. That's the way I identify the problem, right? So what can you do to change that? Because number one, the thought process.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to answer it. You don't have to answer it.
No. I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question.
I don't want to divert the show because I know Thomas have a lot to discuss. But just talking about it, maybe we'll come back on the open channel. We can come back and talk about it. But my thought process is that's how every Liberian think every day-to-day activity. Because once his money is not involved, one is not a political thing, right? They will see all the things you just explained. It's just gonna be, but how can we fix that? And that's what I'm ready want to learn. Maybe we can do it in another section. But
okay, let me
you and I can talk offline. You and I can talk offline.
Okay, gentlemen. Why not bring on someone who knows how to answer that question, or an experienced police, official himself, in person of Mr. King. Mr. King.
Yes, Mr. Wolakole, you mentioned that, and of course, Mr. Roland mentioned the same thing. This is how I have done it. So listen carefully. Maybe I can help you. Every student that I have provided service to, I have provided internet access, and I have provided money for them to go to a central location I have a young man who's in Liberia and who distributes food for them to come to the program and do something and learn from me. I educated, I made a program for the students from the Ministry of Youth in Nimba. Nimba. And they all came. I provided food money. My representative there, who's another youth, he provided food, everything for them, to transportation for them to come and to do the program. That is how we have to do it. That's my sacrifice. I didn't wait for the government. So how did I get it? I asked for donations from people who are in my village.
Partnership.
And they had a young lady who was graduating from the University of Liberia. She needed $350 to go through all the program, legitimate program for graduation. I put my feelers out there. I got that $350. Why? I want someone to contribute $10, $25, $50, $2. Before I knew it, the money came. I sent it straight to the young lady. She got her graduation documents through. That's how you have to be. You have to be innovative. And this is how, listen. Miss Yeye, Miss Cow, Yeye Cow, Formula. She's a young lady that is teaching patriotism to the youth of Liberia. She sends money to Liberia for her organizers to bring food, drinks, and transportation for the people she is doing. That is sacrifice.
Okay, I'll let Mr. Wolokoli respond briefly, then we can move over to another segment of the show.
Mr. King, I commend you for what is it that you are doing. For Mr. Roland, for me, I'm somebody who, when I do things for people, it's not something that I talk about what I do for people. I don't do it. Okay. Maybe I'm finished, sir. I don't do it. There are things I know I do. I'm not going to sit and say, I do this. I'm just telling you something. The issue that these are steps and things that, for me, I'm an educator. I love to educate. I like to teach. That's what I do. But what I do for people personally, I don't bring it to light. I don't talk about it in public. I don't say it. Anybody that if I have done stuff, I tell them, do not call my name, do not say my stuff.
That's fine. So that's we're talking about a group of people. We're talking about a group of people.
No, Mr. King, I understand. I commend you. I commend you for what you do. I'm not knocking you.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. That was a good exchange. But let's look at some comparative analysis and let's see how we can learn from Ghana being a model, that we can learn from, because I am guilty for making some unfair comparisons in my previous episodes. I tend to compare Liberia to advanced countries like the US and others. But today I want to compare Liberia to Ghana, right? And not looking at Ghana as a competitor, but what can we learn from Ghana? Okay, so lessons and missed opportunities. Ghana has achieved significant stability and has become a top destination for visitors and tourists. The country has invested in infrastructure, improved governance and transparency, and maintained political stability. Initiatives like the Year of Return have engaged the diaspora, boosting tourism and investment. These efforts, along with a safe environment and international recognition, have enhanced Ghana's reputation as an attractive place for business and travel. Now, what has Ghana done differently in terms of infrastructure and governance that Liberia could realistically adopt in the next 3 to 5 years? Gentlemen, can we start with you, Mr. Wolokoli?
What can Ghana do? What can Liberia do that can move Liberia to the tourism?
Yeah, in terms of infrastructure, governance, and in terms of infrastructure and good governance, what can Liberia learn from Ghana?
To improve our tourism, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I am a great admirer of President William R. Tolbert.
Okay.
And one of the things that my research and following him, admire of him, is having a. I would look at having a political will. One of the things I think any administration and stuff, the Sonu Wen, Waterside area, those areas should be vacated, removing all people from that area that, as President Turbo wanted to do one time, where they were supposed to move all those people, was supposed to be moved to Barnesville, and so forth. But instead of moving into those areas right now because it's populated, we should move them, build 50,000 to 100,000 affordable homes around the country. In Maryland, River Sedge, Grand Bassa, Cape Mount, Sano, build the houses, affordable homes, high rises, apartment buildings, build it around there, and then turn that area over to investors to build casinos, hotels, and so forth to improve our infrastructure. One of the things that also on another note, when it comes to our building of our infrastructure, I believe that we should use our military corps of engineers to build all our roads, our main roads and side roads, because we have the military engineers sitting in the barracks not doing anything. If the $347 million that the government of Liberia want to take and give it to a personal, a private investor in Sierra Leone, invested in the military, bringing the equipment, improve the military numbers from 2,500 to at least 10,000 military personnel that will be working in agriculture and infrastructure building, that we will spend less money to do that, and will reduce the corruption within the system, because most of the money that comes, that 347 million, a senator, representative, and minister get the cut from it. But if it's within the military apparatus, it will reduce the corruption of it. Thirdly, there's this thing called K3. It's a simple road solution thing that makes the clay of our road, the road very hard, that it can help most of our market to roads and stuff. They can make it where even in our rainy season, it will help with we don't have to build quota concrete all over the country, that it would just make the clay very hard, or it's a simple process. Training our military, decentralizing our police, making the LMP become like some similar to the FBI, and then all the LMP personnel now go down to the local counties and cities, like Monrovia City Police. You have the Bentor, the Ganta Police, the Sacapia Police, decentralizing from that standpoint that them creating those things. Increase our budget for tourism by also taxing through our real estate, that making sure people are paying real estate taxes, that when you're renting houses, you have land or you have homes, you pay real estate taxes to the city, county, and state. Also, if taking our monetary service, digitalizing our whole economic monetary service from cash service to a cashless service. Right now in Liberia, we have the GST system. Take off from GST system to a VAT system, value added tax.
Okay, yeah. So that's one thing we can learn from Ghana. Yes, but in terms of budgetary allocation, because as I was comparing the budget, the budgetary allocation of Ghana to that of Liberia, I noticed some stark differences, some distinctions, I would say. We saw that the Ghanaians allocating a significant portion of their projected revenue towards capital projects, like road construction, like the procurement of hardware for their security sector, like social programs and what have you. So in terms of that, what can Liberia, learn realistically from Ghana? Let's bring on let's bring in Mr.
Can I answer that?
We will circle back to you, but let's bring in Mr. King, for the sake of time. Let him comment on that. Yeah, please, Mr. King.
No, I would like to give this a pass right now, except just to ask Mr. Awolokoli, you are from the military.
Okay.
My background is law enforcement, criminal justice. Why you didn't go to the military people to do your advice to them about what you just talked about? Because I work with the TAP program here in America with retired military people. So I want to know why you went to the police when you should have gone to the military to make recommendation about the construction and all that, which is very sound. I'm not saying anything against you on that.
No, but because the reason why I'm a student, like I said, I'm a student of history. I believe that military should be apolitical. That's one of my staunch belief. Our military should be apolitical, as it was as the 20-year service that I served in, which it was.
Yeah.
And me going to the military, I was already into the political arena as it is.
Oh.
And
that's why the police people treated you like that. Remember, I'm a former policeman in Liberia, so you can't tell me anything about that one day.
No. Sorry, I'm not. Like I said, it is fine. However they want to do it. I'm just saying. For me, I was, like I said, I'm already in. When I went to the police, like I said, my intentions and it still stands for what it is. If the current administration don't do what I have put forth and stuff under my administration, if I'm fortunate to be elected, it will happen under my administration.
Okay, but that's why you should have gone to the military.
Thank you very much, Mr. Awolokoli. Good exchange again, healthy exchange between the two gentlemen. But let me bring in the two entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs, Mr. Pambu and Mr. Roland. The question is it fair to compare Liberia and Ghana, given the huge difference in budget size? Ghana projected 2026 budget is around 31 billion, and Liberia is just around 1.2 billion. Or is that an excuse, gentlemen?
Yeah. So I think it's not fair in a sense of looking at the key thing I want to mention, right? That you mentioned in your article, right? You mentioned that 36% of that budget from Ghana goes to the maintenance of the government, right? The remaining 30%, right?
Yes, sir.
The remaining percentage go to the rebuild of infrastructures and modernizations and all that where the economy, which is huge, which is why I explain why Ghana is ready to escalate the growth is ready, like it's on a fast pace.
Yeah.
Why in Liberia?
So part of their recurring expenditure also has to do with school feeding programs. Supporting the school feeding program, free school, things like that. Also part of the recurring expenditure. But 30%
can I interject something quick?
Allocated for salaries for the public sector people.
Yeah.
And 9% of the total budget goes towards the increment of salaries for the public service workers or public servants. Yes.
Okay.
May I interject?
Yeah. Please let me just land quickly, Mr. Awolokoli.
And Liberia, you did mention 76%, right? Go to reoccurring budget and all that.
Yes.
So right there, let's forget about the amount of money, but let's look at the percentage we're looking at, right?
Yes. Percentage.
If we're looking at 76% of our 1.7 billion, our budget going to just reoccurring of running the government, then we're not going anywhere. Let's just be logical. Let's be logical about it, right? Because we're not investing, we're not doing anything. Now, when you're talking about what can we learn from Ghana, one of the things Ghana did, right, they never treated tourism, they treated history as an infrastructure goal, right? Meaning what they invested heavily on their historical heritage. What they did, right? Meaning like they built tourist side, they rebrand it, they put guys there. They got these stories that people go to this site. They're talking about them, walking them around, right? They made those tourism side feel like home, right? Now I feel like we have what we did when it comes to Liberia and Ghana. Ghana was more of like the enslaved history where slave was sold, but Liberia we were more of the resettlement of slaves. Like we are
The
there. Welcome
return.
back home. The return.
The return. Yep.
Right. So we have a huge history of where we return, where we welcome slave back. Look at Providence Island right there. Come on, example. That should be a sole tools that the government can invest up to. I don't know. I'm just gonna say maybe $20 million to remodernize that whole Providence Island to a historical site. That
Okay,
is so enriched.
we'll come back to you. Let's bring in Mr. Pambu. Mr. Pambu, what's your take?
Well, thank you very much. Like I'll always come from the tech aspect, you know.
Yes.
In terms of if we can compare Ghana with Liberia, I would say yes, we have to. It's shameful, but we have to, you know, because Ghana have taken the time to be able to position themselves to where they find themselves today, while we are still trying to realize who we are. Each time we talk in Liberia, we start to talk about the Joseph Jingi Rabos and the Stephen Benson and whatever. Why today in Ghana, you see people talking about their musical industry, their tech industry, their apps, their human resource development, their human resource capacity, you know. And why in Liberia, when we try to talk about development, we talk about government salary, reoccurrence, whatever we term the terminology, you know. It's very sad, but the truth is, until we come to realize that the resources called the youthful population, which is a resources that we have not used in a proper manner, will not allow us to build the infrastructures that we need. Because these young people, they will be also the manpower that will be used to build these structures. So if we don't put value on them, we don't try to change the mindset of being politically charged. Today in Liberia, there's only one way we can get jobs. Either you have a political godfather that you're abusing somebody, mother, or father for, or you are a political affiliate that just abuse anybody because you say this is your party. To the extent, my brother was talking about the person at the intellectual property office, and he said the only thing they told him was he's a party affiliate. Is that the requirement now in Liberia?
Patronage.
You would take a professional, you know, institution and give it a party loyalist just because they are party supporter. How would the investor see that? Is that a fair playing field that the investor will come and say, hey, my intellectual property will be valued, will be protected, you know, people will not infringe on it, you know. So we have to actually see how best we can invest in the human capacity, which has to do with the mindset, try to at least minimize this political rhetorics, you know. Politics, yeah, it helps govern the country. But if you look at the millionaires and the billionaires list around the world, you don't find politicians there. Politicians only get rich when they involve in corruption. But the richest people in the world are the people with the richest ideas, with the mindset that can impact millions of people. For example, everybody say Facebook is free, but Mark Zuckerberg is the 4th richest man in the world. Just from his idea.
Ideas, yeah.
You know, so we need to educate our young people that politics is for the politicians. Let us see what can we focus on to improve ourselves?
Mhm.
What can we do in order to create an impact in the environment that we live in first before we talk about the nation? My first
Okay,
business.
let's thank you very much. Thank you. Let's bring in Mr. We'll come to you, Mr. Wolokoli. Just a minute, Mr. King.
It was mentioned by my colleagues here that Ghana has this day of return, that
Yes.
celebration.
Day of
But you
return.
see, my colleagues, Ghana has recognized the part, this is important, listen carefully, the part that the traditional rulers played in the slave trade. And they apologized by having a feast. I think it's once every year or every 5 years. They apologized to the Black Americans for their ancestors selling them into slavery. That's the first thing, the recognition. Now, when you mention, my other colleague mentioned about when you talk to people, they talk about J.J. Roberts' time and Stephen Allen Benson time. I understand. But you also have to remember someone, I think Mr. Rowland, you didn't say that you only mentioned that Liberia was the place where they accepted the return of the slave, the inhabitants, right? But
Yeah.
you didn't mention, or you may not know, that Liberia was a big slave selling place as well. So you cannot leave that out. And because of the lack of this information to the youth and the rest of the population, they don't understand the part they played, that Liberia played in the selling of slave trade. Now, Dr. Burroughs' book explains the Liberia and the quest for freedom, the half that was never told. You'll be surprised how people in Cape Mount, Bassa, and along the coast were involved in slave trade by bringing people from the interior, their mothers and sisters, their family, and raiding villages and selling them to the people only to England and France and America. So we must come to terms of what Liberia was involved in. That's why they always go to J.J. Roberts and these other places. They don't go further than that, because to go further back would change the narrative of the hatred that exists in our country today, that keeping people apart.
Understanding the root cause of conflict.
Understand the cause.
Yeah, the root cause of
Liberia is
conflict.
not innocent until we in Liberia as a people realize that our brothers and sisters, the Americo-Liberians, the Congo people, I'm one of them, we are the inheritance, we are the offsprings of those people that were sold. You see? So once people can understand this in Liberia, then it wouldn't be threatened by people from the diaspora or threatened by people even within our country. We are one people. But people use this to divide us without educating the masses.
Thank you. Thank you. I will bring in Mr. Wolokoli, but with a different question. So, Mr. Wolokoli, because we have to progress, we have to make progress. So, which one or two Ghana-style reforms, budget transparency, anti-corruption, diaspora engagement, would have the fastest impact if Liberia adopted them now?
I'm glad you asked that question because I wanted to address budget. Let me right now, Liberia budget is based off of tariffs. Liberia revenue generation is based off of America 1920 economic style that led America into the Great Depression. That's what Liberia is still practicing today, of a tariffs. Us, we're moving from GST to VAT, goods and service taxes, to VAT, value-added taxes, will help us extend to a better ways. When it comes to the budget, Mr. Rowland, the $1.2 billion that were passed on this administration, they only did the $1.2 billion not because of something special. It's just for them to say that they're the first administration to have a $1.2 billion.
So
That's
you're
it.
arguing that you're arguing that it's not realistic. The budget estimation is not realistic.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If you look at the budget,
yeah, some experts have also argued that the budget was overestimated. So I'm just asking you if you are you're on our side of the argument.
I'm trying to. So that's one. Two, right? Two. The budget that is passed, the reoccurring, I think you said was 76% go to salary and so forth.
Yeah, recurring expenditure, not just salary, but for running the government. Not just
expenditure.
Covering the expenses of running the government. Yeah.
When it comes to the infrastructure, as Mr. Pilner talking about for intellectual property, the government do not add that in our budget. The reason the government go and beg for money for grants for them not to put it in the budget. That is the trick. That is the trick that they carry. And I always said that President Boyka is the beggar in chief, and Gafwan is the minister of beggars. Because there's no way.
But in all fairness, Mr. Wolokoli, the 2026 budget, I think the donor contribution is I think less or around 5%, and I think that's a significant improvement from the past budgetary allocation.
Give it a little bit of time before the end of the year. Before the end of the year, that a new supplemental budget will have to be passed. Okay. It's just a matter that they did the same thing last year. The same thing last year. They passed a budget, and then they said, "Oh, we have to do a supplemental budget and stuff." The problem is that this administration, previous administration, do not have innovative ideas on how to raise revenue generation. One of the things I tell people, if I'm elected, one of the things is to make sure our gold and diamond industry should be nationalized. Only like the government of Liberia should sell our gold and diamond to the rest of the world, because right now in Tuesdays and Thursdays or Wednesdays and Friday, there's a twin plane that leave Robertsport, Cape Mount, not Robert, but Cape Mount area every day and fly out from Cape Mount to Robert International Airfield and load up our gold and diamond every Tuesdays and Thursday or Wednesdays and Fridays. I mess up those days. So when it comes to the budget, if our people were innovative, like I said about real estate, our economists that we have in our country here do not understand the power of money circulation. I know a few years back, I think Mr. King maybe had read it, that in the Black community in America, our money circulate in the Black community, I think 13 hours. In the Jewish community, it's 27 days. In the Hispanic community, it's 17 days. In the white community, it's constant and stuff. So now take that just in America. Now apply that mindset of in Liberia that our money do not circulate within our country. Everything goes out, which we trade and everything. One of the things that we can do as a country, and on my administration, if and when I'm successful, is to remove the tariffs for Liberian shipping products into Liberia air, land, and sea. And then if you are a foreigner, we'll reduce your tariffs to between 5 to 7%. But where the government will get the money back from is to put taxes on the product. Every product being sold, you will have taxes on it. So instead of the 2% or maybe let's say 5% of Liberians that are bringing products into the country to pay all the taxes to help raise revenue for the government, now the 6.5 million, well, I would say 8 million people in the country will be paying taxes, using real estate taxes to raise money for schools and stuff like that. That's some of the way we can raise our revenue. Making sure that people like Estella Mita, Firestone building a tire plant, or if they can't build it or steroid, we have to kick them out of the country. So those are the ways and stuff that we can do those things.
Just to inject, Firestone has already, not Firestone, but ArcelorMittal has already inaugurated, I think, close to $1 billion steel manufacturing plant in Neighbor County.
Good.
When?
Sometime last year.
Please. No,
news.
They spent ArcelorMittal spent $5 billion, either $5 billion or $5 million to build a big factory for them to still take the raw material. They didn't build anything to do steel rod.
They have started.
Let me see it. But I remember there was a journalist that I know, and I personally told him, say, hey, ask this question, and his question was swatted down about how building a steel rod. The person that has a steel rod factory right now is this guy called Jetty, Jeety.
Yeah, Jetty, the Indian guy.
Jetty, yeah, the Indian guy, and his steel rod is subpar. He's charged more than what it is in Ghana, and Ghana stuff is cheaper. Price is cheaper, and it's better than what Jetty.
I think you're correct on that, Mr. Wolokoli. It is GT. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, so Mr. Wolokoli, now what I recommend you do is to help them to prepare the mindset of the young people. Try to put this mindset, this information into the people who you will be getting around you, because the young people are the future. So that's what
I'm doing that, sir.
Yeah,
I'm doing that.
After this thing, you and me must talk. We got to talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, gentlemen. I know we are hungry for a debate, but here's an opportunity for a little debate. So, 5 minutes. Is Liberia's problem merely political will, or is it just a lack of resources? A little debate. Anybody can start.
I will start.
Mr. King?
No. Go. Please go ahead, please.
Mr. Roland. Yeah.
No, I think Liberia's major problem is the issue of patriotism, right? We're not a patriot. We don't. I think it's stand out far from politics. When I say that to say, I had a company in Liberia, Pigment Tech. We were one of the top software company where we partner with government institutions through USAID and UN, right, to build fintech applications that that government will use. And one of those projects, we're able to build a climate change software for the Ministry of Finance. We're also able to build a MITRE certificate for Liberia. But one of the issues I saw there that we had issue with, there was a lot of bid that came out within the United Nations, right, for Liberian tech company to be able to acquire that identical contract. But during those bids, we saw that how tedious that our own Liberians that was working in the sector was not trying to give it to Liberia. They was rather trying to reach out to those foreign company, tech company that was in Ghana or how do you call it, or or in Sierra Leone or or in South Africa, where so we saw ourselves bidding against this company, right? Even though we were a Liberian-owned company, we could do the where we have proven record, proven skill, but Liberian were not interested in us. That breaks my heart, because if you go to other countries and you understand, take Ghana for example, Ghana is never taking another company that from outside over a Ghanaian company. That is far from politics. That comes along with, do we really love ourselves? Are we built? Because that come from the mindset of slavery, where we always think that we don't the outside was way better than us. So that's way deeper. It goes back to what Mr. King said, education. So I feel like for the next generation, not even our generation, right, we have to install that sense of education within the next generation that Liberia can fully develop, to show some sense of we come first. If a Liberian company comes, the Liberian we vet it. Even if we gave the contract is not even if the company is not up to the tax, we can allocate our contract to that and give them a bit and piece, face by face, on based on every accomplishment they were acquire a certain percent to make sure that that contract is being awarded. And that's what make Liberia is not going. That's what make a lot of entrepreneurs not even being built. We're not seeing there's no the young people in Liberia right now. When they think about successful Liberians, all they think about is all they see is party politicians. That's why all of our friends, you know me, Thomas Sako, you know, I want to in Liberia, I did engineering, but all my friends, when they want the mass communication, next thing they want to be a politician. You know why that was the problem? Because we had never seen successful or rich engineer. All we saw, the only rich people we saw in Liberia was a politician. So Liberia problem is way far from politics. I feel like we have to invest in more in education, in focusing on how we can reshape our mindset, and how we can love each other, and more like invest more into ourselves. And and the government itself need to invest into small businesses in Liberia that would be able to set an example for the next generation. I know I would just leave it at that. That's just my take on that topic.
Okay, so gentlemen, I believe in fact checking. So I just put some information on the screen. So I think ArcelorMittal too does have a project about, I think what Mr. Wolokoli was mentioning was the first phase. There's a second phase that amount to about 1.8 billion. I'm about to pull that information on the screen as well, just for the record. Yes, so the ArcelorMittal has inaugurated a new 200 million tons per annum concentrator in Nimba province, Liberia. The event was attended by, the president. The project is the centerpiece of the second phase of ArcelorMittal large-scale investment program worth $1.8 billion, bringing its total investment in the country to more than $3 billion. The new plant is one of the largest in Africa in the field of iron ore beneficiation. Okay, it will increase annual production from 5 to 20 million tons and significantly improve product quality, adding value. In particular, by switching to the production of iron with a higher iron content. Okay, so in addition to the plant itself, ArcelorMittal invested in infrastructure modernization. The railway line between Tokade and the port of Buchanan was upgraded. A new berth was built and transshipment systems were improved. More than 5,000 workers were employed in the construction, and about 1,000 permanent jobs will be created after the project is launched. So I just wanted to, clear the air on that.
Okay, so you still
you brought up a whole different conversation.
Okay, so
go ahead, Mr. Wolokoli. Mr. Wolokoli is a politician, so he's not gonna let
No.
I just want to correct the record, Yeah.
What I'm saying, they have iron ore. They did it for iron ore. I said steel rod, that we should build our own steel rod plant. They are still taking the iron ore out of the country. All they're doing is digging the iron ore and producing better iron ore. Steel rod is from iron ore.
Are they not melting the iron and turning it into real iron like steel? That's value in a sense.
They are taking the raw material still. The raw material is not staying here.
But I think that's
we'll discuss that at a later date. But
another day, yes.
Yeah,
this is I would recommend. Let's wait and see.
Okay, let's progress.
Let's progress.
I mean, you just brought up that. Yeah, I was done, but I think was talking about.
Okay.
You mentioned two sector. What can we focus on? What Liberia can focus on in terms of moving forward in terms of development stuff? You said, was it political or what's the other question?
No, I was looking at our problem, right? Is our problem mainly due to the lack of political will, or is just due to the lack of resources?
Yeah, I said I didn't pick any of them. I just focus on education. I think.
And you were talking something about lack of patriotism, right?
Yeah, that's what you said. So okay. let me respond to the question. I'm of the belief that in order for economic stability and economic upper mobility, the political situation within a country must be good. Plain and simple. You can look around the world. You look at the United States of America that you guys are in right now, because of the political problem that is happening right now, that the current United States president, because of the lack of understanding politics and so forth, that he want to be this divisive, that he put in tariffs on China and so forth, that the Midwest soybeans people are suffering. The fact that
I will, respectfully differ with that, point, because the United States situation is very complex. Yeah.
No, so I'm saying political.
Not only yet debating, but I would like to just stay out of that. Yes, thank you.
No. I'm just giving an example. I'm saying political. With a political situation.
Yeah. So yeah.
No. I'm speaking about politics. I'm trying to. I understand what our brother Roland said. I'm speaking on politics.
We're talking about political will. So how does political will have to do with divisiveness and all those things? We don't want to go down that.
No. I'm talking.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, please continue.
Okay, I'm talking about politics, political will, and everything wrapped up into politics. If a political situation within a country is not good, the economic situation is going to be bad. The social safety network is going to be bad. The security situation is going to be bad.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I will just say this, maybe for context. So in terms of political will, it's about, the motivation on the part of politicians or leaders, political leaders, to take, significant steps, important decisions, make decisions that will benefit the overall good of the people.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
But that's the point I'm making.
Like you're talking about Torbert, right? Yeah. Yes.
I was talking about what?
Like you mentioned Torbert, you spoke so fine about Torbert. So we can argue that Torbert has political will in certain areas. Like he tried to promote. He tried to promote. He took a bold step in promoting what we call industrialization in Liberia, where things were being made in Liberia. Yeah, taking a step, taking a stand. That's the political will to make some decisions that maybe the decisions may not be too popular politically, but it benefits the overall good of the people. Yes,
Mr. Thomas,
it helps the people. Generally. Yes,
my brother. The lack of clean drinking water in Liberia is due to the lack of political will. The lack of good education in Liberia is the lack of political will.
A little bit. Yeah, I was just trying to bring us home a little bit. You can continue.
Right. The lack of clean drinking water in Liberia is the lack of political will. The lack of education in our country is the lack of political will. The lack of security in our country is the lack of is the desecration of politics. What I'm saying is that if the political situation is stable and the country is moving, people understand and say, okay, that's politics. Mr. Roland and Mr. King and myself may not agree for last ideology on what we are. At the same ideology, but we respect each other's opinion. We will say, okay, we will go to the battlefield, the political battlefield, and battle. And I would say that Mr. King believes in this thing, and I think it's wrong, and I think mine is right. Or Mr. Roland believes in this thing, and I think it's wrong for the country, and it's right, and I think I'm right. If I'm able to convince the people about what my political philosophy is, what my policy are, because your policy is all about politics. So if we go to, I'm fortunate to win, then I'm going to try to move the country in our policy realm, political realm, in that direction. When the next election is coming up, Mr. Roland will say.
Thank you. We'll come back to you, Mr. Wolokoli. Thank you very much. Let's hear from Mr. King.
Mr. Roland, you mentioned something, and that was very important, which is the lack of patriotism. The lack of patriotism affects political will. The late President Talbot declared a war against ignorance, disease, and poverty. I have taken on the era of ignorance. So everything I do is focus on hitting that structure of ignorance. Now, patriotism. There are people who are talking to the young people about patriotism. What it means is when you and I and others like Mr. Wolokoli see articles that are written in the newspaper against those who are patriotic citizens, elder citizens, writing something about patriotism, and they sit down and allow other politicians to come in and denigrate, insult, really insult the people who write those things, and they don't say anything about it. They say something about the entire nation and where we are. For example, there have been occasions when a former representative have spoken out and insulted a person who wrote in the newspaper about patriotism. Nothing the person said was negative at all, was uplifting. There's not one politician, there's not one person in any of the political parties at any time came, not that the person needed defending, but not one person came up and challenged that person who talked against the person who was making wrote an article about patriotism. So we all have to be vigilant, just like how you said in America and other players. When you see something, say something. When you see something wrong, say something. But there are people will sit down, keep quiet, and they know what that person is happening. What's happening is wrong, but they keep quiet. So patriotism is important, and also the members of the government, especially so when they get up and when they complain about this and that going wrong in the country, and they say the government should do something. You are the government. You the representative, the senator, you the government. So when you complain about a contract not being done properly, when you complain about the Robertsville Airport not being run properly, who confirmed the people into the offices? Now you the representative and senate. So you all have to be understanding where the lack of patriotism starts.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. So that was an interesting mini debate. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Wolokoli, Mr. King, Mr. Roland. That was interesting. I like it. You know. So let's come back home. Okay, let's look at tourism and how we can strengthen our tourism sector. So let's look at Steve Harvey, Stevie Wonder, Rachel Dennis, and let's look at why they are choosing Ghana. All these high-profile, notable African Americans. Let's look at also Oprah Winfrey, Pella roots in Bond County. It was established that her DNA traced to the Pella people in central Liberia, and she was hoping that it would be South Africa and not Liberia. So, and another heritage traveler, Angela Thompson's quote, let's look at the emotional connection versus shock at underdevelopment. Okay, so why do so many heritage travelers with emotional ties to Liberia, like the African Americans, end up going to Ghana, South Africa, or other places, and not Liberia?
Can I jump in?
That's a super question.
Yeah. Yeah, please. Who wants to go first, Mr. Olokoli? Yes, you can.
I want to go. Let me go. I would say that because Mr. King says something about this Liberian being involved in the slaves in the selling of our African brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then people only refer to Joseph Jenkins Roberts' time when they want to look at the inception of Liberia. They don't even go back to 1820 or 1822. They don't even we don't even go back to there. Then let's go forward that it was the African Americans that came. Correction, I don't say African. I don't even say American Liberian. They're free slaves because the free slaves were not citizens of America when they came to Liberia. So I don't consider them American Liberian.
Yeah, that's an entirely different debate. Yes, please continue.
Yes. So they were the one who put stop to the slave trade in Liberia, and because of with the natives that said they were mad at the fact that the free slave were putting stop. If I'm quoting right, that Mr. King can correct me. Say
some of the indigenous, some of the
indigenous. I'm not saying all. No. I'm not saying all.
Exactly.
If I can remember right, that there was a phrase that was said that I would rather trade with the white man or something than trading with the doing something with the free slaves. I can't remember the actual quote, but I think you know what I'm talking about, Mr. King.
Yeah. Go
right?
ahead. Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
then fast forward.
We gotta speed up, gentlemen. 20 seconds more, Mr. Olokoli, please.
No. So I will say this. I want to deliver history. The nerd of coming out of me right now. So let me just go. So when it comes to the Steve Harveys and so forth going to Ghana, is because Ghana have provided the opportunity and the environment for them to go there. Liberia has not done that. Liberia, like at one time, Liberia was where Malcolm X and so forth came to Liberia. Liberia had the Ducal Palace Hotel. We had the first 5-star hotel in Africa. The JFK Hospital was the premier hospital in West Africa. We just don't have the infrastructure or the stuff. And I would say President Bweka missed the mark recently, last year, to his visit to the United States when he said what he said, where he said he made a statement after I listened to President Bweka's speech when he took the inauguration, welcoming African Americans. 2-3 months later, he went to Atlanta, where he welcomed African Americans. He won that. Then fast forward to going visiting President Trump and using the phrase "Make America Great Again," knowing the implication that phrase means, and then saying all the stuff that he did, that was a slap in the face to the African American who thought that, for me, my opinion, that would have said, okay, Liberia is someone who would be welcome at. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Let's move on to this one. We gotta go quickly. Sorry, gentlemen. We've talked about the problem.
Can we answer that? Can we answer that?
I wanted to say you can just interject when you're responding to this. You can just add it to your response when you're responding to this question. So we've talked about the problems. Now, if Liberia is serious, what must actually happen in the next 12 to 24 months? Okay, so we talk about problems, but let's outline some solutions. What do you guys think must happen in the not too distant future, 12 to 24 months period?
Well, I would just come in at this point and say I was discussing this with my wife when the
Mhm.
last diaspora conference they had here,
Mhm.
and she said something very interesting. She said, unless the government can guarantee more protection for the investment being made by people from the diaspora as well, because that was the diaspora conference, then they cannot expect for the Liberians to bring their businesses to back home. You have to make it very, you have to study this issue of the diaspora people coming back and engaging in certain businesses and reserving certain businesses for Liberians, as Mr. Roland mentioned. So that's
Okay.
my point. Something has
Okay.
to be done with regards to protection of the diaspora investments in Liberia, because
Mhm.
no one will have a better interest except their own investment in Liberia. And two, looking into the situation where you reserve certain businesses for Liberians, as Mr. Roland mentioned, that is done in Ghana. And I think you also mentioned it, Mr. Sako, in Ghana. And
Mhm.
also begin to for him to ask questions not amongst his own people, because they will only tell him what he wants to hear. He needs to take his time to talk to other people outside in the professional era and listen to them. I had a particular business person who went to Liberia recently, and Liberian, and the person went to see the president to discuss important issue of business with the president. The person told me that the office was like too many people were coming inside and disturbing the conversations. They didn't even have a chance for it. You know why? Because I feel the people around him don't want him to hear what other
Oh,
people
that
have.
was done on purpose.
And that happens all the time. That is a fact.
Okay,
So
gentlemen.
we got
Jacob,
to
you
have that.
wanted,
That's all I
Jacob.
want to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. King. Jacob, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, I know it's time sensitive, right?
Yes.
When you
Mhm.
ask the question, you mentioned something in your article. When you ask the question about,
Okay,
you
please.
know,
Mhm.
where we, where we at, right, and how can Liberia, and you said something in your article you read, right? You said, well, since 1980, right, the lack of seriousness, and now Liberians we're favoring
Yeah, yeah,
plutocracy over
yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
meritocracy. I think that's a
Mhm.
key point you made in your article, which is something that aligned with us since 1980 from the Toba region to now. So if
Mhm.
we're looking at moving forward right now, going as far as how can we grow from this, let's look at the positive side. I was happy to hear my mom call me when a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm like, what happened? Because we got like Joseph Walker is really doing. I'm like, what do you mean doing well? Like, right now we're having stable electricity. It's been a while since it took on. I was shocked. Like it been couple 2 3 weeks. So that's progress, right? I feel like when people come into this country, like when I want to take some of my friends, hey, let's go visit my country. I go to work sometimes. I maybe where you from Liberia, they're excited, look, yo, take me back home with you. Can I guarantee there is stable electricity? Can I guarantee there is stable running water? Don't forget about the roads. The roads, we all know Liberia is remote, but those are the things that will always make people want to come. That's a start. And speaking of the president, when he came to America, he did his tour. One of the tour he did in DC, we all were excited. I signed up for it, right? And some of the things people came out in there, right? We was willing to hear what opportunity the president have for we that living career Liberians that live in the diaspora that want to go back home. We never heard that. The only thing the president could tell, oh, we encourage you guys to come back home. But what's the plan? Is the government giving us? Is the government allocating, let's say, 400 million for Liberian businesses? Are they like what Mr. King was saying? Are they prioritizing Liberian own business to do certain type of business? Are they making sure that every hotels run Liberia should be owned and run by Liberian? Are they making sure that every investment that's coming in Liberia should have a Liberian as a co-founder? Right? Not a partner, but as a co-founder to it. What are we having? Like, I don't want to stay in America. I guess you don't want to stay in America. But if we're seeing this opportunity in Liberia that is opening up for Liberian, qualified, educated Liberians, listen, I'm packing my bag and legs, I'm going home. Ghanaians are doing it. We have a lot of Ghanaians friends that came to school here. Some of my friends that came here that going back home running their parents' company and all of that because while the government allocates some of these things that personal private business can really explode. And all these things will also encourage a lot of tourists to to come and visit. Because once my friends that I grew up here and say, I mean, I come visit, he's coming. The next thing he have fun, he's telling everybody, yo, come to Liberia, come to Liberia. The next thing you know, and the last thing I want to say, visa free. The fact that Liberians people want to come, but they have like Ghana has visa on arrival. You don't even have to go into the American embassy. That make it so much easier, so much convenient
We
for
have
people to
visa
come
on
visit your
arrival
country.
now.
Okay,
Is there
so
now?
Mr. Wolcott just
Oh, okay, then that's great.
about
But
it.
but but yeah,
Talking about
that's
it.
just out of my point. But yeah, for the sake of time, yeah,
Yeah.
that was just my
So Mr.
addition.
Wolcott, you're gonna come in and you like this one. So, and I know you have most of them on your 20-point how you call it, action items that you have. So name one concrete government action that can be done within 12 months to show seriousness on a part of the government, something that ordinary people and investors can't see. You want to go first, Mr. Wolokoli?
Say again, I hear you.
So I want us to focus now on a solution, because we can sit there all day and criticize, but let's focus on the solution. So let's name one concrete government action that can be done within 12 months to show seriousness, something ordinary people and investors can see.
Man, I can't just say I can just take it to one. One of the things I would say, like in 12 months, I would say
you gotta understand, Mr. Wilker is a politician. You can't let him. He can't press the government like that. He has to. He has to be a little bit. Go ahead.
I would say digitizing our monetary system from making it digital. And stuff that would reduce corruption and deter people. That will open a lot of tech jobs for young people. Taking our tax system, removing the tariffs for people Liberian shipping into the country, removing the tariffs, that will open a lot of opportunity for Liberians who want to go into the private sector, the private sector arena. Making, like I said, building affordable homes, about 50 to 100,000 affordable homes to remove people out of zinc rounds and mud houses.
So you think
houses and stuff.
You think that can be achieved within the next 2 years? You think?
Say that one more time.
You think some of the items, the things that you're listing, you think they can be achieved within 2 years?
Digitizing our system, that can be done in a year to 18 months.
Okay.
Building the 50,000 affordable homes, that can be done by the end of my first term. Removing the tariffs for Liberians, that can be done with a stroke of a pen on the day I'm elected.
Okay, nice.
Nice. I will have to drop. I'm sorry.
No problem, sir. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your insight. We appreciate you. Take good care, my brother. Yeah, and gentlemen, I would like to add, strengthening the Anti-Corruption Commission with a clear mandate. Now, these are things that can be done within even 6 months, but I give it a 2-year, time frame, and people will see it. It'll be visible for citizens to see and experience, and even visitors. Strengthening the Anti-Corruption Commission with a clear mandate. Launch a national infrastructure plan focused on key tourist areas, and then do a pilot road upgrades to 1 to 2 major attractions. So in project management, we like to do it. We like to take baby steps before we can take the giant steps. So you do a pilot, before you can go to the long term, the medium term, the long term, right? So instead of being overly ambitious, start small. Pilot road upgrades to 1 to 2 major attractions. You say, okay, today we're going to pave the road from Monrovia to Yekepa, because Yekepa has a lot of, tourist attractions. We'll do that within the next 1 year or 2 years. Okay. And then restore or increase funding for city cleanliness. That can be achieved within 2 years or even less. Okay, gentlemen. So, yeah,
Thomas, when it comes to the city cleanliness, right? When you come to the city cleanliness, the key one of the key things is that we don't have a landfill, a proper landfill or recycling center in the country. We don't. We would have had this under the alien administration, but because of corruption and envious mindset, a young lady that brought the stuff to do that, the people within the government stop her from doing it. Okay. When it comes, if the government just get out of the way and say, okay, we want a private investor to come and build this, give the specs, give the requirements that we need, right? One person in charge of the landfill where trash will be dumped. And then you have all the CDs and stuff. Now you have people who are collecting the trash point and so forth. Like they have in the US there, the different cities that pick up from people. Get young Liberians to open business that they're the one who will be doing it. The cities where now you have the city pass a law that's saying that every house must have a trash subscription, and if you will not be allowed to burn trash in your fence, nowhere. And if you do, use the EPA to use safety and eminent domain to remove people out of the house and sell it at a government cost. You do that to 3 to 4 people at a time, everybody will fall in line.
All right, thank you very much. And then I must add again also that Liberian businesses and entrepreneurs can also play a part. They can start investing in ecotourism projects, hospitality training programs. So we can just sit here and just blame everything on the government. We can do our part.
And guess what?
We can do partnerships with local communities. Like, for example, what happened in Robertsport? The people started cleaning the beaches. And because of that cleanliness project, a lot of tourists started pouring in to do surfing and what have you. We can learn from that example, right? On a community level. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Liberian businesses, Mr. King and stuff, one of the problems that we have in our country is the fact that our land, the banks do not give loans to entrepreneurs. And some of the reason why they don't give loans to entrepreneurs is because some of the dishonesty that people have. When people go get a loan, when they're not able to pay the loan, they run into the interior and run away. Some of the problem that we have, our land and property is.
Let's look at some of the solutions. The problem
I'm giving solution. No, hold on.
Because
I'm giving solution. Hear me out.
Yeah, okay.
Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
Hear me out. When it comes to our land, the LRA or the government of Liberia should enforce and make a mandate that saying that everybody that owns a land in the Republic of Liberia, you must register it. You got 1 year to register your land. Pay your taxes, which is the back taxes, which is 4 years back and 1 year forward. You pay your taxes. Once you pay your taxes, now you have collateral that you can go to the bank and borrow off of that. If you don't pay your loan, now the bank can take your land and that land can be resold by to people for things so that will move the economy a long way.
Okay. All right, Mr. King, you wanted to say something, please?
Yes, very much so, and I'm glad that Mr. Wolokoli brought this out. And I'm going to mention about what you said about the banks not loan. My sister is in Liberia. She had to go through the same situations, and other people. We have property there. I know people have property. What the LRA should do, and people are really fearful of this thing. And you mentioned the lack of information and need to computerize. Let the banks and the government, should I say the LRA, the government, let the government say, okay, if a person owns land and they haven't paid and they cannot, and the amount of money is for 4 years back, let them make it easy for the person to pay. Don't strangle them. because their objective is to get money into the government. You see? So if they
Well,
only
it is easy to pay.
no, but listen carefully. If they owe $25,000, the government expects them to pay $25,000, and you and I know very well that they cannot come up with that $25,000. So why not make it easier for the person, especially if they have a business? Make it easy for them. Say, okay, how much can you do? Because you're trying to grab them. You're trying to keep them to generate interest and confidence in their government. So if they have a piece of land through ignorance, could it be through ignorance that they didn't know? Now they have this amount to pay. Make it easy for them to pay rather than threatening them to take the property from them. So when you make it easy for them, you keep them coming to you to build up the capacity so that when they see now they can go to the bank and get a loan because they are reliable paying taxpayers, then you have them. But they are afraid because when they come to, $25,000, how I pay, you won't take the land from me, then they begin to go up country and run away.
No, but Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. King, I want to correct you on something. I am an advocate for Liberians. I know you probably just getting to know me and stuff, but I have been out there talking about taxes and stuff.
Good.
So this is how it works.
Yes.
In Liberia, like this month, I'm going to go to LRA to get my bill. Yes. I got one of my friends who own property also, and I'm going to get a bill for our property tax, our real estate property tax.
Yeah,
in Liberia, you got from January to June 1st to pay your real estate tax taxes.
Yeah,
which is a one-time fee.
I know.
A one-time fee, right?
Yeah.
So in there, the problem that people have that because of greed, when someone bought a land for $200 for a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
They will go and say that when they're selling that land, they will say it is $2,000 for a lot.
Yeah.
Where now, if you want to be, if you buying land in Liberia, I tell anybody buying land in Liberia, when someone say, they're selling the land, you ask them, is your property registered, or have you paid your back taxes on it? If they have not, this is where you, as the person that buying the land, you say, okay, you take a copy of the deed, you go to LRA, and LRA will tell you, say, this property need to be registered, and this the taxes on it. So LRA will look at it they will look at the price on the deed and say, this is the back taxes that you have to pay, and then they will ask you, how much are you paying for this land? If you say you're paying $2,000 a lot, LRA is going to say now you have to pay the back taxes on that $2,000 because that's what the property owner saying that the land is worth $2,000.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
but
now,
if you want to buy that land, I was talking about the original owner of the land. If he owns that, but if you want to buy the land,
the original owner. If you go, if most of the original owner land around Liberia, the original owner of the land and stuff around Liberia, they do not owe $25,000.
Okay, what they owe?
It is less than $5,000.
Okay,
most of the land.
Right.
But the problem is, one second, Thomas, 1 second. But the problem is because of greed. Because the property, when they bought the property, it was like $100 and something. So if you go and say your property was $100 and something, that's what you would pay the taxes on. But because,
Yes, I said correct.
So, but people don't want to do that. They want to say that property is worth $5,000 a lot. So then that's the $5,000 you have to pay the taxes on.
Yeah.
So if you want to, they're going to be honest, because they just said, I remember a few years back, I went to buy some land in Bond County. The man looked at me and told me, say it's $3,000 a lot for land in Bond County. I said, why would you charge that much? The man looked at me and said, oh, in 20 years, it will be worth that. That's the reason why I'm charging you.
He's a smart man. He's a smart businessman.
But if you want to buy, you buy it. Yeah, man.
Exactly. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why it's like that. It's not because of LRA. It's because they know what the land is worth, but because they want to do more. They want to charge it, but they don't want to pay the taxes on it. So that's why I tell people when I go buy land from people, I tell them, say, okay, I will eat the cost. I will take if you can't pay your if you're not paying your taxes on it, then I will pay. If I pay the taxes, I'm gonna take it out of the final sale, and they don't like that.
Yeah, but they don't buy the land. Go somewhere else.
I know, and I walk away. For me, I walk away. I tell them, say no, I will walk away, no problem. So it's not LRA fault. It's the land seller who are trying to be dishonest.
Okay.
Okay, gentlemen, let's bring it home. Let's look at a bigger picture for Liberia, again, for tourism and investment. So, and this will be our final one, and we can, include our parting comments as we respond to this one. So by 2030, what is one specific sign that will tell you Liberia has become serious about tourism and major investment? So we look at the short term, steps that we can take or gains that we can make. Now we're looking at a long term. So by 2030, what, specific signs that would tell you that Liberia has become serious about tourism and attracting major investment?
Well, since I'm the only one on it, besides our guest, we gave him a hard time, but I'm sure he appreciated our frankness and our ability not to back down, and our listeners also appreciate what's going on, because we're not going to be backing down. But what I would like to see, and from my perspective, I'm not a construction engineer, I'm not a IT consultant, but I'm a public safety person. So what we need to do is the government needs to really gather themselves together and talk about the crime rate in Liberia, the unsolved murders that takes place, and contacting again those that are able and understand the needs of the law enforcement services in Liberia. And also, not long ago, for tourists for the tourists, a young man was drowned in a swimming pool in one of the counties. I think I sent that to you, Mr. Sako.
Yeah.
Not only that one person I found out, Mr. Wolokoli and listeners, but almost 4 other people have drowned in that same hotel swimming pool.
Okay.
Now, from
no
a
lifeguard
question,
on duty.
Huh?
No lifeguard on duty.
Exactly. That common basic public safety concern. Why is it that no one has brought that up? And you have security companies in Liberia, private security companies. You have people who are working in the hotel as security people. Why has that not brought up? 4 people died, and that person would be the 5th one. I stand to be corrected as to the numbers. But law enforcement also should take cognizance of this. So you have to provide training for your officers and get ready through training for them. The traffic situation, the police officers, traffic situations. Again, you have to look at the pay scale for the officers. You have an inspector general of police, and he should be out there in the legislative department office talking for his men. You can't come up, be appointed in any government position, and when they call you and say, why isn't this happening? You say, well, we don't have this, we don't have that. But that's what they appointed you for. That's why they take you and you say you will do this, you will do that, and you will do the other in confirmation hearing. That's what you say with your mouth. Then they confirm you. Then when you get the job, you go sit down. And I'm not only talking about law enforcement. I'm talking about any government position. But specifically, I'm referring to the law enforcement side. And you say, we don't have this, we need that. But you've been there, what, 2 years, 1 year? What have you done so far? You see, but you can't complain about no equipment, no this or no that. That's what they put you there for. And you can't convince someone like me and others who are more qualified than I am in security and law enforcement that you can tell me that you're doing this, that, and the other. You can't talk to us like that. You can talk to other people who don't know nothing. You can play around with people in Liberia who don't know nothing but security, but not people like me. So if you want to challenge me, come on a forum. Now I challenge you. You're supposed to be doing
the
something
current
better.
IG is incompetent.
No, I'm not talking about incompetency. I'm talking about what a person should be doing. And if anyone wants to find out what the law enforcement and public safety should be in Liberia, you talk to me and others like me. I'm not the only one. But I know that what needs to be done in Liberia today is attention to the payment of the police officers and security officers in Liberia. Then when you pay them better, then you can hold them responsible to the law enforcement code of ethics, which I talked to you about in the our last meeting. And people have heard me on the radio. I'm not here to gain popularity contests with nobody. I'm not here for that. I'm here to talk facts. Now, if you want to tell me you don't know what it is to improve the law enforcement, then come to me. I've been former deputy director of police in Liberia, former SSS security. I've been in all areas of security, even a member of the Presidential Committee on Drugs and Narcotics. You don't come to talk to us. There's people over here who are professional Liberian firefighters working in Massachusetts, in different places, Virginia, in different areas. They are professional Liberians. You don't come to them, you go call somebody else from Minnesota to come give you, make a statement that the fire wasn't electrical, it was gasoline. Come on, man. Who they fooling? I can take that to the president of Liberia. Who are you fooling? Experts that will come to tell you, say the fire was gasoline? Come on, man.
Thank you, Mr. King.
I don't have time for foolishness.
Thank you, Mr. King. Yeah, that has to do with the security, factor. Yes, the security plays an important part in attracting.
That's what they can do within a year. They
Yes,
can do it within a year. Improve it within a year.
yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Wolokoli. In closing, by 2020, what is one specific sign that will tell you Liberia has become serious about tourism, attracting tourists, and major investment?
The mindset of the country,
Yeah.
the mindset of the government officials within the government apparatus, increasing the visibility of our infrastructure within the country, making sure that, in a sense, all our musicians and stuff that we have around here, paying these young men and women good amount of money so they can go and play music and go to concerts and stuff there, that the people can go there for it to be understood, educating people in the area of places that they are able to tell the history of a place when people show up there. What Mr. King said about the security apparatus within the country, improving that. Yes, paying police officer and paying, training, and equipping the security apparatus is key to improving our security sector. Even if you're paying the security $150, but you're giving them the equipment and they're having a good working environment, they will come and do the job. And you paying them on time for the money that they say. If you say I'll give you $150, and I agree, they agree to come and do it. They will come and do it. if they are getting paid on time, you are giving the proper equipment, and you're giving them the training, because they will be disciplined to do what they need to do.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wolokoli. So to add, we're talking about measurable outcome, and we're looking at our target dates, say for 2030. So what I would like to see is the number of tourists that are arriving to the country, tourist arrivals, particular role completed, the number of roles that are completed within this time frame. And we'll look to also look at the corruption index score. We should also have that, corruption index score. We should look at it to see where Liberia ranks, and to also look at some projects initiated by people from the diaspora. So Liberia has enormous potential, but it must fix its infrastructure, governance, and security. Ghana offers a practical model, not just a comparison. Seriousness will be proven by visible actions and not speeches.
Any calls? Anyone calling us? Anyone?
Okay, yeah. So we have some comments. Let's see. They were not really pointed. Let's see some comments from the listeners. Somebody is saying, be on social media running your mouth while the foreigners take out your country. All day we want to blame the government. That is from Carmine Fandua. Nico Graham is waving. Hi, Nico. Yeah, there's no real pointed question. Somebody said, I am watching you live from Jenin, Liberia town, Roman Clown, Tiwa district in Grand Cape Mount County. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So there's nothing serious to, respond to.
But even a comment, no other comments, at least they're watching.
No other comment. At least they're watching. That's a good one.
That's all we want.
Yes, sir. So we will. So gentlemen. So before we wrap up today, let's take a moment to reflect on the bigger picture of what this show is all about. Imagine a Liberia where citizens are empowered with adequate information and resources to thoroughly evaluate their leaders, demand transparency, and hold public officials accountable for their actions. Also, imagine a society where young people eagerly utilize various creative communication tools to transform their anger and frustrations into constructive dialogue and inspiring works of art. That's the Liberia we envision. And to achieve this great undertaking, we look forward to partnering with you, our followers and supporters, Liberians from all walks of life and in every corner of the globe. I will see you next time. But until we meet again, please take good care of yourselves and be kind to everyone around you. Thank you very much.